You have found what lights you up. I'm your host, Sunny the Life Coach, and I'm here because I see you searching for something or someone out there to help you feel better. Something to take away the pain that you're feeling, the inadequacies. I know all of the things that happen in life can leave you feeling empty. Your search is over. This podcast is all about finding your own freedom and power to love yourself enough to shine in the ways you were always meant to, the ways in which you are already fully capable of. If you're ready for some real talk, some serious truth bombs, and a few F-bombs, you are in the right place. Let's do this. Let's get lit. Hey there, and welcome to episode 25. I am so glad that you're here. Truly, I am. I've been thinking a lot about breathing lately and how grateful I am to have the ability to breathe. We take it for granted, really. Perhaps we always have. Last year, I watched a few episodes of One Strange Rock with my son. It's a documentary series about Earth and all of the amazing elements of this planet. And the first episode really grabs you. It's called Gasp, that first episode. And it's all about our ability to breathe. How the Earth produces oxygen like no other planet does. And Will Smith narrates, and there are astronauts in that episode who are interviewed telling what they know and what they've seen and understand of how other planets work, what Earth looks like from space, all of these things. But the focus is on how we humans breathe. All of the things that need to happen, both within our environment and our body, in order for this to happen. It is absolutely fascinating. I highly recommend it, even if it's only that episode. And I think of this in relationship to what we're dealing with as a society, both worldwide and especially in the U.S. today. I think about how COVID-19 places many people on ventilators, how they can't breathe on their own, how the virus attacks the lungs. Now, it doesn't have this impact on everyone, I get that, but the end game with this virus is that you can't breathe. I think about George Floyd and how his breath was crushed from him. How I know so many of us were impacted by those words, I can't breathe. And how I've been even further impacted with my awareness that he wasn't the first that this happened to. Yet having it happen as we're in the midst of this pandemic that attacks your ability to breathe is just so much to take in and process. And finally, I'm thinking of my friends and my family in the West. The fact that Oregon and parts of California have the worst air quality in the world. The smoke from all the fires is so thick you can't leave your house. You can't go for a walk outside and enjoy nature, soak up the sun, or be refreshed by the rain because there is no rain and you can't breathe. Now, I usually begin my episodes with somewhat lighthearted stories, but this needs to be said. I'm not trying to bring anyone's vibration down at all. And this episode is not going to be centered on this topic, but I think it's important to be aware. Be aware of what your fellow humans are going through right now on so many levels. And with that awareness, I'd like you to start looking inward and ask yourself, what exactly is keeping you from making the changes in your life that you keep talking about making? What is keeping you from setting goals and actually accomplishing them? That's a rhetorical question. I know the answer. That is what I'm going to help you see today. I've been studying change for years, long before I became a life coach, because it fascinates me how we as humans approach change, how we respond and react to things. In my past life, I became a certified change leader because I thought it would help me to better understand how to help the people in my organization deal with changes on that level. Learning what I learned really did help on that front. I believe that. I still draw on that knowledge and I combine it in my coaching practice today. It's great stuff. And the way I view change, there are two ways that it happens as far as I can see Sunny's view of the world. First, there are the changes that we seek. We want to become a better version of ourselves. So that's where we set a goal. Perhaps it is to lose weight, build muscle, change our diet, stop eating meat, or at least so much meat, look for alternatives to dairy, make sweet treats an occasional indulgence that is planned in advance, begin planning all meals in advance, meal preps, daily exercise, all of the things. All of the things that we believe will transform our bodies and our minds. Change that we desire. Then there are the changes that happen around us externally, the changes that we didn't ask for. A new organizational structure where you work. We call it a reorg. That means your job duties are no longer what they used to be, if you even still have a job. That's what I've experienced a few times and what the focus of my certification was on, my change certification. Perhaps it's not even a change of job function, but just a change of your environment, an office move, where you have to pack up all of the shit that you've accumulated and make it fit in a smaller space. Believe me when I tell you, a whole lot of emotions come up in an office move. A change in your daily routine that is driven by your local government's response to a global pandemic. Wearing a mask in public, limits on the number of people who can gather, things of that nature, things you didn't ask for. Being forced to remain indoors while the fires burn all around you. Forced change. And we react differently to both types of change, of course, so that's why I'm going to break them into two separate episodes. Today, I'm going to address the first one, change that we desire, and why it seems so freaking difficult to make it happen, why we so often end up giving up and giving in. I think for many of us, we need to feel discomfort in order to even consider making a change. Let's take weight loss, for example, because that seems to be something that many of us can identify with. Of course, there is a mindset component to weight loss. Huge component, actually. One that we are rarely introduced to. No, instead it's just join this club, join this gym, sign up for this program. This one is the answer. It's no accident that the weight loss industry is thriving and will continue to thrive. There is no shortage of supplements, programs, approaches, or prescriptions on how to lose weight. Some of you have tried them all, or at least it feels like it, right? Unless they are combined with coaching, and I have many friends that do this as a focus, by the way, what none of these programs do is teach you how to manage your mind and how to form new habits so that you stick with it, because no program is going to magically transform you. Only you can do that. I know this is true for many of my clients. They need to feel uncomfortable with where they are currently in order to create desire within to change. That's really what has them reaching out to me in the first place. Maybe it's the way that your clothes fit. Maybe it's learning how to better manage your time so that you feel more balanced with all of the activities you have. Maybe it's a combination of both. Where am I going to find the time to plan my meals in advance, schedule workouts, and even include a 10-minute meditation so I can achieve a greater sense of calm along the way? Whatever it is, it's usually coming from a place of discomfort in order to desire the change in the first place. You decide and you take steps to make the change. You buy the program, join the gym, or subscribe to the service. You do it consistently for a few weeks and you start to see progress. The number on the scale starts to go down, your clothes start to fit better. You learn that you are able to find the time. You make a little bit of progress, just enough to get out of that zone of discomfort. Maybe you make it a third of the way to your goal. Then you start slacking off because you're no longer feeling uncomfortable about where you are. You congratulate yourself for having come this far, and instead of doing your evening workout, you curl up on the couch with a glass of wine and find a new Netflix series to binge. Why do we do this? The program we purchased promised results within 30 days. While we didn't get the final result we were expecting, we got something. So we just accept good enough. The workouts were hard at first, then they got easier over time, and we feel accomplished enough just to let go of the idea altogether and maybe even focus on a new goal. That monkey mind kicks in. Let's do something else now. Besides, it's been a long day and you're tired. My friends, this is where we fuck it up. We start out with a goal in mind. We challenge ourselves to accomplish it. We get halfway there, just to the part where we no longer feel discomfort, and then we quit. Why is that? Well, the answer is easy enough. It's that basic instinct rising to the surface again. Seek pleasure, avoid pain, save your energy. Combine that with all of the thoughts you're having, and it's a recipe for failure. And I really don't even like the word failure. I like to think in terms of lessons instead. Nice little life lessons, but let's go with failure today for the sake of conversation, because that's what many of us do see it as. Not accomplishing the full goal is viewed as a failure. All of those thoughts you started with, the ones that kept you from continued progress, those thoughts are soon replaced with even more that are not useful and are also not really noticed because they lurk and thrive in our subconscious mind. Thoughts like, it's been a long day and I'm tired. Like, I made some progress today, not all of it, but some of it, it's good enough. I'm getting older and my body is changing. A week or even a few days later, those thoughts will morph into something else entirely, like, I don't have time for this. I knew this wouldn't work. It's just like all of the other programs. It's all bullshit anyway. And eventually you end up right back where you were in that place of discomfort. And after you feel that you have sufficiently beat yourself up over not having accomplished your goal, you end up starting all over again. Rinse and repeat. Now, all along, the fitness program coordinators or instructors had been giving you all kinds of pep talks like, be stronger than your excuses. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And my favorite, David Goggins, who will say something like, greatness pulls mediocrity into the mud. Stay hard. I'm being super sarcastic with Goggins when I say he's my favorite. My husband adores him. I appreciate all the man has done, David Goggins, but I personally don't respond to being yelled at like I'm in boot camp. Many people do. If that's your jam, that's cool. Goggins' approach is to turn off your mind. Turn off that voice that wants to admit defeat. Beat it to a pulp. My response is a bit more pragmatic, I think. I don't believe you need to turn off your thoughts and beat the crap out of them. I think you really need to notice them, understand them, truly see them for what they are. They're just thoughts. They are a part of your subconscious that has come to accept mediocrity, sure. And it's precisely because they are buried in your subconscious thinking patterns that you likely don't even notice them. I do believe it's true that if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. No pain, no gain. No mud, no lotus. No challenge, no change. What happens is that we find ourselves pushing through the initial challenge and seeing just enough progress that we decide we've earned a little break. And so we take a little break because we've earned it. We get ourselves far enough so that it's not a challenge anymore, and we rationalize our way out of doing it altogether. We work ourselves just far enough out of the initial discomfort to convince ourselves that we don't need to go seeking the next level of discomfort. Now, I've used weight loss and fitness as an example here, but this is really applied to any change that you desire to make in your life. The challenge comes in making progress every single day, in taking a step every single day, in stretching outside of your comfort zone every single day. This could be seeking a new job, starting your own business, writing that book you've always dreamed of writing. Whatever it is, it needs your focus and your attention daily. That's where the challenge comes in, and that's where the change is found, taking small actions every day. That means not taking weekends off. That means if your goal requires you to get up at 5:30 a.m. every day in order to create the time to do the thing while the rest of your household is still sound asleep, that means rising early on Saturday and Sunday too, my friend. Because every time you stop, you have to start back up again, and you've lost your momentum. That's why Mondays become so freaking hard. We have programmed ourselves to believe that we push hard Monday through Friday, and so the weekends are for resting and recovery, and basically laying around and being as lazy as possible, right? Well, the problem with that approach is that every Monday feels like starting all over, and every Monday gets harder, and eventually you just quit. You rationalize it away. You can write the book next year. This year is not turning out so great anyway. Maybe it will be your New Year's resolution for 2021. And can I just interject here and say that I can't stand the New Year's resolutions approach. I really can't. I get it. New year, new you, and all of that fluffy bullshit. But the reality is that the year has nothing to do with it. The day of the week has nothing to do with it. You can start on Thursday afternoon in September. You can start right freaking now. Stop with the excuses and the rationalization that tomorrow, next week, next month, next year will be the year that you finally get your shit together and that you finally start accomplishing your dreams and desires. Because all it takes is focus and consistency. Whenever you decide to start, you start, and you don't quit. Your brain is going to tell you to quit. Your thoughts are going to creep in, and your subconscious is going to look for a way out of the discomfort of doing the mundane things every single day. But that's where the challenge comes in. You may be presented with the challenge every day. In fact, I'm almost certain that you will be presented with the challenge in the beginning. And when you are presented with that challenge, when you remind yourself why you are freaking here, what are you here to do? What are you built to create in this world? What unique gifts and talents are hidden underneath the mountain of excuses where you have allowed yourself to be buried? Because it's comfortable. Because it's easier not to do the things. One of my favorite books on this topic is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And I know there are a lot of books out there, and James Clear's Atomic Habits is another one that I hear of often. But I haven't yet read that book, and The Slight Edge was gifted to me by a dear friend, so I refer to that one when I need some inspiration and a solid injection of motivation. I'm going to read one of my favorite messages in that book now. Interestingly enough, it precedes a quote from Will Smith, of all people. But I really like what Jeff Olson writes even more. And he says, I believe we are all, each and every one of us, graced with a unique mix of talent, passion, and vision, and that we were put here to live that out on a grand stage. The purpose of the Slight Edge is to allow us to live out those talents, passions, and visions to their fullest potential. I believe we are here to learn and grow and to become so abundant in belief in ourselves that we finally tap into the full potential of the greatness that is within us and share that greatness with the world. But that greatness comes with a price. Growth creates abundance, and that abundance in turn creates responsibility. The more success we have, the more greatness we step into, and the more abundance we experience, the more responsibility we have to the world around us. Achieving greatness in anything isn't simply a matter of taking the steps that get you there. It's also a matter of being willing to pay the price, and that price is responsibility. That section really speaks to me. Not only because it serves as a reminder that greatness resides within each and every one of us, but also because it shines a light on the element of responsibility that comes with it. And I think that responsibility breeds focus and consistency. Oh yeah, think about it. We, especially we women, do a really good job of demonstrating responsibility. We have no problem showing up for everyone else. We view our jobs as a responsibility, our families as a responsibility, raising children, managing the household, cultivating friendships, responsibility. We show up for it. Now, we aren't always chipper and happy about it, but we are present when we say we're going to be. Because we know if we don't, someone will be let down. Our coworkers, our partner, our friends, our children, someone will suffer at least disappointment if we don't complete our obligations. Those are the thoughts that we have. But man, ask us to show up for ourselves. Ask us to commit to being all in every single day with our own goals and the changes that we want to make for us. Nah, I'm just going to take a break. I'm tired from showing up for everyone else. Many times we don't allow ourselves to even get to that place of growth because we know it's going to be uncomfortable. That's why it's easier not to. That's why it's easier to quit after a few weeks and 17 years of New Year's resolutions. I don't know why I just said 17. I think because we start that silly practice in adulthood. Whatever. I've already expressed how I feel about those. Really, this is like anything else that I've talked about. Your ability to see your goals through to completion and your willingness to change and grow and become a new person starts with being aware of your thoughts and ultimately the beliefs that you have created over time by thinking the same thoughts over and over. Those limiting beliefs. The ones that say, I'm getting older and my body is changing. I don't have time for this. I knew this wouldn't work. It's all bullshit anyway. Really notice the sentences that you are thinking to yourself and notice how rational they seem. Completely rational. Seek pleasure. Avoid pain. Save energy. All of the things that just make your life easier. We don't give ourselves a chance to build our muscle, be it physical or mental, before we just give up and give in. We don't catch those subconscious thoughts and challenge them. Come on now, is that true? Is it really true? Try on new thoughts. Instead of the same old song, try singing a brand new tune. How about, I can find evidence of people older than me who are in phenomenal physical condition. If I can make time to meet the needs of others, I can make time to do the work that it takes to achieve my dreams. Thinking that it's all bullshit is a lie to keep me safe and comfortable in the cave. Anything can work if I practice it long enough, if I commit to myself, if I am focused, if I am consistent, if I am responsible. To me. This isn't about beating yourself up and pushing through the pain or staying hard, meaning hardening your psyche. It does mean that it's not always going to feel good when you're trying to make a change. It does mean that you start out motivated and ready to do it, and you know that eventually that's going to wear out. And some days it might feel like drudgery. That's when you just do it anyway, because you are reminding yourself that you are worthy. You are capable. You can accomplish anything you set out to do as long as you are focused, consistent, and committed. It does mean that some days you're going to be doing shit you don't want to do, like meal planning and logging macros, like writing emails, posting on social media, or making sales pitches. If it's true that every success is built on a mountain of failures, it could also be true that every goal that you accomplish is on the other side of a river of misery. Change is not supposed to feel great all of the time. It's like anything else in life. A lot of the time it's going to feel like work, thankless bullshit work that you don't want to do. That's how you get results. One day at a time, 1 hour at a time, one moment at a time. One limiting belief noticed, recognized, and exchanged for a more useful thought at a time. That is how we grow. That is how we evolve. That is how we make change happen within ourselves. Let's do a short and sweet quote from Rumi to drive the point home. Anyone who genuinely and consistently with both hands looks for something will find it. How good is that? Every single day, you are given the choice to look for excuses or to look for the success on the other side of what feels mundane and meaningless in the moment. You decide. And keep in mind that not doing it is also a decision. Know that your brain will always offer you reasons not to. Hold awareness that even the most successful goal crushers out there in this world experience thoughts or even fleeting visits from old limiting beliefs. The only difference is that they don't listen to them. So if you've fallen off the wagon of your goals, your hopes, your dreams, your plans, your schemes, you just dust yourself off and get right back on. You don't beat yourself up about it. That doesn't serve anyone. You recognize that you are being challenged, that you love a good challenge, and that it's necessary to accomplish meaningful and lasting change. Okay? That's what I have for you on this version of change. Next week, I'll go into the kind of change that is forced on you by external circumstances, and we'll talk about how to handle that. That is my Jam Fun Times. Now, I'm going to put my shoes on and head back outside for another long walk, breathing in the fresh air because I can. All of my love to every one of you out there who does not currently have the ability to do so. I am thinking of you daily. If you'd like to discuss this topic further or anything that you feel is keeping you stuck and holding you back, head over to my website at sunnythelifecoach.com. Click Let's Do This, and you'll receive a link to my online schedule delivered straight to your inbox. I always welcome a conversation with you, and thank you for listening. Light up, shine on.